Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. This is the program where NAFDAC, the agency saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding the health of Nigerians, intimate you on her activities. I am Okpejemi Urimolade, your host. On this episode of NAFDAC and Your Health, we start by discussing the importance of food, the reasons NAFDAC places premium on food, and the basic things to pay attention to in ensuring food safety. And then we move on to feature highlights from the 2025 edition of the World Food Safety Day as commemorated by NAFDAC recently in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare at NAFDAC's office in Oshodi, Lagos. Food is essential to life. The quality of food consumed determines the quality of life and, by extension, the quality of productivity of man. All this sums up together to determine the health of the nation, which of course is the bane of NAFDAC's constitutional mandate. NAFDAC, however, in its concerted move to continually safeguard the health of the Nigerian people, takes the issue of food safety very seriously. This is why the agency guards and fights against every factor that can alter the safety of food.
I'm big on food because I take food as medicine. When you take medicine, it's once in a day. Some people don't even take medicine, except once in 3 months when they are not always ill. But you eat food every day. You drink every day. And if what you take in every day is not healthy, then you will have a cumulative effect of the outcomes of such contaminants. For example, mold. Aside from the fact that some people are very reactive to mold in the environment, but if you take in food that has mold, a lot of granules sold by the roadside that have not been sold for more, within 2 days or 3 days, sometimes they can grow mold. And if somebody takes that in every day, you take in aflatoxin, mycotoxin, molds, they can cause cancer. Pesticide residue. When a pesticide is sprayed on vegetable or on vegetation or whatever, there should be time for that pesticide to wear off. You cannot harvest it quickly. When you give medicine to animals, antibiotics for example, you cannot sacrifice the animals immediately. If not, you will be taking the antibiotics in the animal. And if it is the pattern, then you start taking antibiotics in every day through meat. Before you know it, your body will start getting comfortable with low levels of that antibiotic. When you are ill, the protein around the bacteria will have gotten used to low levels. So when you now get very ill and you take medicine, they build that coat around themselves. That's antimicrobial resistance. Many people die all over the world. Unfortunately, we don't even have a record in Nigeria of it. That is why One Health is the approach that NAFDAC is taking now. Meaning, it's not just about drug. It is not just about food. It is about food and drug combined. Because through food, you are taking drug and it's affecting health. So we cannot separate the two in terms of the outcomes of either. Because we take food daily throughout life. That is why I put a lot of emphasis on food. When I was younger, I wasn't that concerned too much about salt, although I don't like anything too salty. In fact, when I was younger, I don't like anything sugar too much because it was affecting me. I was always having very heavy menstrual period, or very tough menstrual period. And the doctor says, reduce your sugar. So we have to eat or have this food that we eat with little or no salt or very little sugar. Sugar is one of the problems in the world. There's nothing wrong with sugar. It is making sure you don't take it too much. Salt, there's nothing wrong. It is making sure you don't take it too much. Because when you take in sugar, it also attracts water from the body. And before you know it, you may be building pressure in your blood vessels. Because the more water that is being attracted to the sugar, to the salt, the more pressure is being built. It's like you are getting too much fluid going through a pipe. So there are some things, some ailments that we can avoid, or we can reduce the effect of them. The same thing with sugar. Sugar can make people hyperactive, can make children hyperactive. And if for children, they can easily burn it. Even for children, you have to reduce. For example, the baby food and whatnot. What is the level of sugar in them? Fructose. That is part of why I take food as medicine. I see food as medicine. Because they can make me better on the short run or on the long run. Another additive is monosodium glutamate. What we find in our flavors, whether it is Knorr or Maggi or whatever, we have to take it reasonably, because they also have salt, and when they attract water, they may cause blood pressure increasing and whatnot.
You've been watching NAFDAC and Your Health. The program returns after this short break.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You're still tuned to NAFDAC and Your Health. The efforts by NAFDAC to ensure food safety is a continuum. This is why the agency always has a series of regular and specially dedicated activities to constantly educate and sensitize the public and stakeholders, and also build the capacity of stakeholders in ensuring the delivery of the best of services that will always guarantee food safety. One of these activities is the annual commemoration of the World Food Safety Day. The 2025 edition of the commemoration of World Food Safety Day, which was the 7th edition, took place recently at the agency's Oshodi office. The commemoration, which was themed Food Safety, Science in Action, focused basically on how to build an inclusive, transparent, responsive, and enduring food safety culture. The event also had the focus to better leverage on science to detect and prevent foodborne hazards before the foods get to the consumers. In her welcome address, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, who was ably represented by the Director in charge of the Food Safety and Applied Nutrition Directorate, Mrs. Eva Edwards, explained the purpose of the gathering in detail.
So on this important day set aside for 2025 World Food Safety Day, we gather not only to commemorate a day of awareness, but also to reinforce our collective responsibility for safeguarding one of the most basic human rights, the right to safe and nutritious food. The theme for the 2025 edition of World Food Safety Day is ACT, Food Safety, Science in Action. It is timely as well as deeply significant, reflecting the central place of science in food safety. It brings into sharp focus the vital role that scientific knowledge, research and innovation play in ensuring the safety of our food systems along the food continuum from farm to fork.
The NAFDAC Director General, speaking further through the FSAN Director, also gave the history of how and why the day was set aside as World Food Safety Day.
World Food Safety Day was established by the United Nations General Assembly in December 2018, following a joint proposal by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, and the World Health Organization, the WHO. The day is observed every year to raise awareness about the importance of food safety and to promote efforts that help to prevent, detect, and manage foodborne risks. The annual observance of World Food Safety Day marks a global commitment to making safe food an essential part of public health and sustainable development. Safe food is the foundation of nutrition, health, economic development, as well as societal well-being. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 600 million people fall ill each year from consuming unsafe, contaminated food, resulting in more than 420,000 deaths annually. Tragically, a significant proportion of these deaths occur amongst children under the age of 5 years, who are particularly vulnerable to foodborne pathogens due to their developing immune systems. These numbers are more than mere statistics. They represent families disrupted, livelihoods disrupted, productivity losses, lives shortened, and health systems stretched and strained. They are a sobering reminder that food safety is not simply a privilege, but a fundamental right, and that more must be done to turn scientific knowledge into preventive action that protects all, especially the most vulnerable from unsafe food. As the saying goes, if it is not safe, it is not food.
The NAFDAC DG also went on to talk about the significance of science in ensuring food safety and concluded with the efforts of NAFDAC in ensuring food safety, protecting consumers, and supporting public health, as well as what steps the agency is committed to taking in this direction going forward.
Science in all its disciplines, whether microbiology, chemistry, biotechnology, environmental science, and data analytics has become our most powerful ally in the quest to ensure that food is safe for consumption. It is through science that we can identify harmful pathogens, detect contamination, establish hygienic standards, and create early warning systems to prevent foodborne disease outbreaks. The theme for this year, Food Science, Food Safety, Science in Action, calls on us to recognize that food safety is not static, it is dynamic. It evolves, adapts, and improves with the growth of scientific understanding, innovation, and technological progress. In agriculture, science enables us to understand soil health, optimize pesticide use, and monitor the integrity of supply chains. In food processing and packaging, innovation allows us to develop safer preservatives, biodegradable materials, and smart labels that monitor freshness. At the regulatory level, science informs the development of evidence-based standards that protect consumers while enabling global trade and competitiveness. In the face of climate change, which is already altering food production patterns and increasing the risks of contamination, science helps us to adapt quickly and effectively, helps us to be resilient and agile. In Nigeria, NAFDAC has been at the forefront of ensuring that our food supply meets international and national safety standards in the part of the food supply chain where we play and fulfill our mandates. As a competent authority for food safety, NAFDAC plays a pivotal role in using scientific knowledge to protect our consumers, guide industry practices, and support public health. In line with this year's theme, we must continue to strengthen our agency's scientific capacity, enhancing laboratory infrastructure, adopting new technologies, building regulatory expertise, and fostering partnerships that promote innovation.
In their address, the NAFDAC DG added that the event was not just for commemoration, but also a platform for capacity building and dialogue for further reflection on the roles of all stakeholders for food safety and for positive action. One of the presentations made was the one titled Strengthening Food Safety Culture Through Science, Training, and Collaboration. And this was delivered by Mr. Aino Olugbenga Stephen of the FSAN Directorate.
What is culture? Because I'm talking about food safety culture. Many day we say food safety. But we have to move from just saying food safety to food safety culture, where people take ownership. What is food safety culture? Can somebody help me here? Thank you, Dr. Oka, for the way of life. The way of life. That means as a woman, you want to cook in the morning, you don't just rush to the kitchen and because you want to get in your face. Instead of you to clean properly, you just do something and just what you are doing. If you don't do your food very well, what you are taking is poison, it's not food. In science, in food safety, we say if it is not safe, it is not food. Can you say that again? If it is not safe, it is not food. What they are taking is poison. And the fact that the food looks very attractive, looks very good, does not mean it's safe.
This was followed by the presentation by the guest speaker, Dr. Abiodun Adebayo Adetoro, the head, Department of Food Science and Technology at the Yaba College of Technology, Yaba, Lagos. This presentation was titled Food Safety, Science in Action, Ensuring Safe and Sustainable Food System.
The type of food that we bring to the table for people to eat, we must every time have it at the back of our mind that is this food safe? Is this food nutritious? Is this food organoleptically safe or sensory safe? So let's note those points. Then what is food safety. I said it's a foundational pillar of public health. Some people go to university, they say, I go to study public health. Where are you coming from? What are the rudiments? What are the foundational elements that you have? There are some items that are not supposed to be in the fridge. You put them in the fridge. There are some items that, for instance, your bread. Your bread is supposed to be inside freezer, not fridge. But we put it inside fridge. Yes, it's supposed to be inside your freezer. Your raw meat, your raw fish, is supposed to be packaged adequately, and then you freeze. You package in portions that you can cook per time. Not that you bring it out, you pour, you take what you need, and you freeze again. No, that's not science. Then you cook. How do you cook? Temperature time combination is very important in our cooking process. Then you chill. I've just mentioned that. Don't bring it out, thaw, and then you refreeze. No. The moment you thaw, that vegetable, that meat, that chicken, fish that you have thawed, ensure that you cook everything at once. Then temperature. I just said temperature time combination is very important. Even when you are using advanced technology for temperature time combination, it is important you maintain that adequate temperature to cook. And when you are baking, for instance, you have to preheat the oven. Don't load your system and then you now turn your regulator to 220 degrees.
The presentation was followed by a question and answer session, and then a panelist discussion on the theme of the day. That has been our package for you on this episode of NAFDAC and Your Health. We will return next week with another insightful episode. Meanwhile, you can help NAFDAC in our efforts to keep Nigerians healthy by sending in your comments, complaints, or reports and observations on the activities of peddlers of NAFDAC-regulated products.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Before I go, let me remind you that it is criminal to import, produce, advertise, distribute, or sell fake or unapproved food products, drugs, cosmetics, and chemicals. As you abstain from these acts, also endeavor to report any such activity in your area. Let's join hands to eradicate these life-threatening ventures. Till we meet again next week, stay healthy.